welcome to the lovely IHP community and the 5D collective. And anyone who's new, I will be sipping some coffee while giving you a gist from my perspective to you about the spiritual process. And so, spirituality simplified, spiritual process, it gets expressed when you're securely attached as yourself. So, why will I say that? Well, for one, 5D Mystic here, so please remember we have different groups going on out there, and that's because some people, well, they don't want to be their whole self, okay? And two, please remember that there are a number of ancient textbooks, a number of religions, a number of spirituality gurus, all of that, okay? So I just thought I'd give my 2 cents so that anyone who is doing mindfulness living and loving with the self-help spiritual stuff that we do here has the gist of what I have gathered throughout all of these years with my journey, but really it's the attachment trauma educators that helped me to be able to give you the explanation. So Dr. Daniel Siegel is one of them. In my course, Consciousness and Change, it was really great to understand how a whole self, and even in the other courses that I have with him, but a whole self, when we are our whole self, I am, it means that our child parts are sleeping, they're not charged, and you'll know it from inside of you, which is why we're non-reactive, because we know how to be in our restorative embodiment. We're self-aware, accountable, and regulating. So this is something you choose in time. You don't actually snap and done. Okay, so the spirituality of any person, I will equate it to, it's in your breath. And sciences doesn't actually disprove spirituality. No, it just explains to you something. So with the self, when it's whole, as Dr. Daniel Siegel explains, in a person who owns their core self, narrative, relational, and solo self. So you have soft thoughts and soft emotions. I do this because the left mode is our verbal, the right mode is our nonverbal. So the right mode contains all that comes up in my body because I'm mindfully aware, accountable, and regulating. And then because I am a blank slate, because I'm curious, open, accepting, and loving, when I'm around you, because I'm present, I'm attuning to you, and these are Dr. Daniel Siegel's acronyms, I'm also resonating to you because I have no low self-esteem. Maria has none, no shame buttons, not even one. Which is why when people have interacted with me as a teenager growing up, you have no emotion. I do, I'm not dramatic. I don't need you to do this. Why? Because I'm a whole 3-year-old. Why do I know that? Because again, Dr. Daniel Siegel, as he hears a story from me, says, oh, great, you are already a differentiated self. And that means my thoughts, my emotions didn't get impacted by the human being called mother, my primary caregiver, as she came around to say, I'm going to spank you because you did something. And I'm like, you can't do it. It's my body. And you might laugh, but that every one of us has a 3-year-old. The difference is mine didn't get shamed. So I got to continue to express all my anger, all the basic human emotions. And so nowhere did I get feared, shamed, felt helpless, hopeless, any of that, as I'm interacting as a child with this human being called mother. And so I continue to grow up. As an adolescent, we all get the social system online. I learned from 11 to 14 how I would not disregard my own gut. And I learned based on my own experiences. And I didn't say, Maria, you're stupid. I said, you're stupid, but not stupid in that way of being a inner critic. Why? Because my, again, primary caregiver held me with equanimity. So, as Terry Real will point out, I knew and still do how to hold myself with equanimity. Then there's also our own body. So we all have attachment category. We all have what Dr. Daniel Siegel will call PHP, or at least there's a way to, besides the adult attachment interview for your category, there's this personality something something. And that one gives you a spectrum, which is really fascinating. Other people have compared it to other personality tests, but it's not a personality test. It's a personality trait analysis, if you will, that then allows you to understand how you will play with your attachment category. So there's self-agency, bonding, and certainty. Those are the 3 main ones. And long story short, though, when I found out, thanks to me taking courses and again being able to ask questions to Dr. Dan, I'm like, okay, this makes complete sense with everything that I am, so that's the part of why you will know how your body, Sadhguru doesn't know how he shares information, and it matches when you're a person who owns, observe, witness, narrate your own sense of self. But that means you own also your core, narrative, relational, and solo self, which means you're not reactive, which means you have healthy self-worth. As Terry Real will point out, then it means you know how to love yourself first. If you don't, like Patrick Tiahan points out, well then we have the therapist for that. So If you're not a whole self, and that's why I see spiritual bypassers, mantles of mental health, there's bad therapists, there's bad spirituality people. What does bad mean? It means they're ineffective because they're incomplete, because they're reactive, because they're a Cusco version of themselves. You'll notice if you're an empowered human being, any Cusco that walks near you, because it's called a teenage attitude, envy, jealousy, spite. And they're not in any way, shape, or form Lucifer. No. It's like the fancy woman in a suit who goes on to do a couple and more videos dismantling, in her personal opinion, good therapy and healing. And I'm like, dangerous, no emotion. You obviously don't know that you can't physically have no emotion. You just don't know how to be the angry Buddhist because you have no idea how to use your ventral vagal state. You have no intention to. You don't own your first 3 years of life. You don't own your implicit memory. So your foundation was broken and you're still building upon it, which is why you're interrupted from everything spirituality related, because your ego is in town. And that's only the left mode. Your right mode don't come up. No, you suppress that shit. In fact, it's the only reason you'll think that the system with the new therapy are trying to imprison you. It's because you don't want to get your emotional body completely online in the way that mindfulness works. You don't have to. You don't have to become your restorative embodiment. You can stay modulated. That's where you find Cuscos, and they will continue using words. And we know, like the Zen master, he's not a Zen master. He doesn't even know how to do Zen. He knows how to, I have laundry. That's not the way you're going to put mindfulness into practice, Zen master. Okay, so whether you want to call it spirit, soul, life, this is where it's the whole self, number one. And so your child part's uncharged, okay? That would mean you have the capacity to look to your past. Maybe you use the word post-traumatic growth. Some of us don't. We just use we grew up and we emotionally matured and mentally matured, and we like to bring forth our inner child adult. I know that if I get into an argument, all I want is a hug. And what I've noticed is that people who are not their whole self, they don't give a shit about hugs at all. They don't give a shit about sorries. They actually don't give a shit about any of what is I love to love, and my baby, he loves to laugh, and he loves to live, and he loves to learn, and he loves to not cast stones. And that's the tune that I'm talking to you about, not the words so much, although loving, living, laughing, yes, and learning and expanding in a fun way, like the tune is. That's how it feels inside of me. Okay, and when you see Sadhguru, you'll see his exuberance as well. So, as he points out, none of us are here to judge, of course. So, let me go find his quote. One, as he shared yesterday, fundamentally the only thing you can give is yourself. Yes, that's true. But also, where are you? 1 second. Here it is. Do not judge someone's spiritual process by their behavior. The spiritual process is beyond the ways of body and mind. Yes, the body, the mind, the brain, and the spiritual process is beyond it, but it's not beyond my capacity to explain it to you. Your whole self, when it becomes whole, like Dr. Daniel Siegel explains, integrated brain, he doesn't use the word restorative embodiment, but I know that with integration comes restorative embodiment, and then with your self-awareness, accountability, and consistently regulating mindfully, okay, you don't have to do the spiritually thing, but you're going to stay open-hearted. I chose it with Jesus, Holy Spirit, and God. It wasn't hard to do because you know what emotions are coming up, and all those emotions, they don't get suppressed, they get processed with the inner growth mindset. Hey, brain, what's up? Well, these feelings are coming up. Why? Well, because I got to a dead end. So I get to be my own mother, and when I'm facing a dead end, hey, God, so I got this dead end. Well, what do, Maria? Keep moving forward. I got 2 feet and 2 hands, and I get to keep walking, and it's not by pretending. The part that Zen master uses laundry, it's his relationship with his emotional plane. Some of us have a really good relationship. Mindfulness means you're soft in thought and emotion. So people who want to do it, that's because they're interested in becoming not only their own feminine, so their own mother, but their own father, their own emperor. And you know, this is when you know you got a true leader. So any true leader is a masculine and feminine of their own. I hope you better bet that woman ain't nothing. And neither is that man. They're only there for the people who don't want to do the work. And they don't want to do the work because that's how painful it is to go and get good therapy. And so again, you can't force somebody to go and get good therapy, and well, nobody will, because the laws are out there. Simplified spirituality. So when you're a whole self, as Dr. Daniel Siegel explains, you become a verb, which is why you won't feel change. You'll just feel more of yourself day after day after day after day. Or you become yourself, once you're freed from all that which was keeping you in an unhealthy self-soothing mechanism. So it's when you have healthy self-worth that you're like, I'm alive, because your aliveness is here. And then you get to choose if you want to work with your mood or not. Okay, so again, the spirituality process gets expressed when you're securely attached as yourself. I'm using those words because the self of you is whole, your child parts are asleep. That's because you're using your prefrontal and you're able to stub your toe, make the choice like the Zen master, which would be different though. I choose consciously to want to keep using negative and positive language with my emotions because I don't want to grow a depth of a relationship. I want like now, like this person who did great with therapy and then she's like, I want to do personal development. I want to do self-help. So this is that moment of truth where, okay, you can do that and you stay in a modulated embodiment and you continue living that fight response because you're not putting your best foot forward to do something different. Your spiritual process is still going to be there, which is why Sadhguru says don't judge a spiritual process by its behavior. Yeah, because you're all, like me, able to be the pure consciousness of you, embodying unconditional love and the pure energy. An inner child adult, Krishna Lila is what I use because it's exploring the depths of seriousness with playfulness, which is exactly how it feels. Am I not decent enough to be saluted? Shit. What do I do now? Well, I have to play nice because if you can't say something nice, say nothing. And so the spiritual process of any person, once you've accessed your true self, it'll always have fun. You have, I love to love, and my baby, he loves to laugh, and he loves to live, and he loves to love, and he loves to learn, and he loves to not cast stones, but instead to learn how to be a person who jives and thrives in the humility and humbleness of remembering determined Robert Sapolsky. It's not romanticizing. I don't justify unhealthy boundary people. Don't say that. I actually, those people, I'm still learning how to be patient enough. No, I'm not. I'm learning how to work to talk about it with you all. Because see, if there's one thing I don't like is liar, liar, pants on fire, hypocrite, 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 hypocrite. You see this face? This face is a kid growing up. Holy liar. You're not doing nice. You're not doing nice. And that's my annoying teenage tone. And I learned from God. Mind your own business, Maria. Fine. I'll mind my own business, but look, they're all doing shit. It's all wrong, 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 wrong. Okay, so that attitude can come out of any one of us. So when I see unkindness, I spot it like a hawk. Why? Because it's not nice. And I'm an inner child adult. And I'm sensitive. I'm not sensitive like I used to be. I'm still sensitive, but not nearly in any way, shape, or form like that. And I can thank all the people around me because I got to say, Maria, there's a door. They don't have to be friends with you. You don't have to be friends with them. It's a big planet. Okay, cool. So I'm learning how to want to talk to you about what is something really annoying because I want to bring it with a good energy. Why? Because that's going to make me smart. It's also going to make me a better orator. And I'm not trying to prove shit. No, I'm an orator in the sense of a voice who says, you know what? Hey, guess what? I'm not trying to be kind to you. I'm just being Maria. You don't like me. I can shake your hand and say thank you so much, and I'll mean it. The thing is, I'll mean it as I become aware that you are an asshole, quote unquote, who has low self-esteem, who doesn't actively know. You don't know everything, and you're playing God right now. And so because this is one of these conversations that I had a long time ago, and as you get older, if you have empowerment, you don't perceive anyone. Passive aggressive what? I don't perceive these energies. I perceive people. If I meet a person who's empowering, they're going to be an inner child adult. Otherwise, they're going to be somebody who might have buttons, and I won't have noticed their buttons unless they get really in my face, and then I'll be like, okay, I don't know what just happened. I think maybe I should go. So, again, spiritual process, the whole self, the verb. You are consistently expanding. You have fun, flexible, adaptive, coherent, energized, stable. You have a presence because you're in the now. When your default mode network is what is it called? So the default mode network is down regulated. I'm not scanning Maria or you as I interact with you. I'm present for that reason. My body is now attuning to yours, and I, though, have no low self-esteem. I have no charges. I have no insecurities. I'm curious, open, accepting, and loving with the Krishna, Lila, Shiva, and Kali essence is what I bring in. And that's my ventral vagal state. I'm non-reactive in the moment. So even as I'm getting yelled in the face, I'm non-reactive. And actually, I'm self-regulating shit that comes up. I'm saying, no, there's no talking going on. There's just shit, sensations, images, affect, whatever's coming up. I'm like, okay, it's okay, cool down. And I continue engaging with a caring connection in front of me. That is spiritual process. And that doesn't need the word spirit, soul. It's the essence of me which is connected to dark matter, dark energy, Akash, grace. You have it too, only when you're in a space of open heartedness, open guttedness, open brainness, and that's that alignment. We'll talk about that next. So it's when I can turn that other cheek willfully, and I don't need to say I forgave, because I know that if my feelings get hurt, and I do it this way, because seriously, again, I'm a grown inner child. So it's not, oh my God, they just broke me. It's, well, it'll be okay. Everybody has differences. You got rejected at 4. If you get rejected again, it's not rejection, protection. It's called we're different, to the point of it's not personal. Differences are not personal for a person who's empowered. Because sadness only comes because I want to connect with you. As a grown woman, I know that I can connect with you, but not on all levels, which means simply that we're not 100% compatible because we have differences. So, and really, when we're making a big bunch of friends, it doesn't matter, does it? You hang out with the ones who resonate the most with you. You will build a life only with the one who matches a T, or the ones. And that's actually not anywhere near negotiable. If you're empowered as a woman or a man, or they, you're gonna be like, I know who I am. I love to live, and I love to laugh, and I love to learn, and I love to not cast stones, and I love to expand, and I love intelligence, but I love emotional, mental, and physical intelligence. So when you're whole, you're not going to be dating or interested in unhealthy, self-soothing human beings who have low self-esteem, not even one little low self-esteem. Because the minute they're projecting it, I got a flag in the wind, you got no flag post, you ain't reliable, you're just another one of the same Cuscos out there who thinks you know shit. And you get into people's faces and you don't know shit, because if you knew shit, then you wouldn't be doing that. So again, the spiritual process, it's a feeling, number 1. It's not necessarily a belief, number 3. These are my subjective ways of bringing it to you, and we'll talk about it again. But so getting your whole child online, becoming a whole self, getting your higher self to be in the lead, being ready for mindfulness, not having to choose it. But that's when you're going to begin to discern, I think is the right word, when your spiritual process, when you, the spirit of you is there, when your ego is there without you being connected. And that's that moment of Elsa journey where you get off the high horse and say, I'm a human being, and I want to continue learning the frequency of humility and humbleness. If you have clairs, you will do that if you're the 5D frequency state of consciousness person, because it's automatic. The minute that I had clairs, I, 1, got the download, it's my human makeup, I'm not anointed. And 3, every time I heard anyone using words we're special, we're this, I'm like, okay, you're all disrespecting our ancestors. I have nothing to say, because I know that our prophets didn't go around saying, I'm a prophet, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a that, I'm a that. They didn't do that shit at all. And you better bet that they don't use words to try and get people to follow their message. The part of what you know as a person who stands with alignment, humility, and humbleness, and the capacity to understand that everybody hears whatever they want to hear, and they will navigate to that which is theirs. So there's not a siren in a way of capturing somebody. No, I've seen who the sirens are, and I see who defend these sirens. Oh yes. So when you meet those who pretend to be everything, it's not pretending. We have 2 sides to coin. This is the other part that you'll notice. Enlightenment, soul age mystic here, not spirituality. I'm beyond the belief. Dark matter, dark energy. So what I can share with you all, people don't understand this universal law, da-da-da-da. It's not about you sacrificing. You don't have to suffer. No. If you do suffer, well, that's part of your journey. There's 4 paths to enlightenment, or connecting to spirit, source, pain, loss, bliss, delight. You still get the opportunity to connect. When you see pain and loss, like that Zen master, you understand that they're there for the people who want to continue to use those stories of you can only get to enlighten through pain and stuff like that. So we leave that alone, meaning everyone understands, those of us who are in the capacity to connect to grace, Akash, God again. We don't continue to use the words. In fact, let me put that aside. I know I got more in depth than I wanted to, but we'll have some more again in the future, simplified. So, long story short, it's a balance of energies. Free will consistently be given to us, and the opportunity is education, knowledge, and then different leadership. And no, to me, the only leaders are actually the ones who expand. But I know where the limited consciousness leaders fit. They fit for that other end of the spectrum. It's not a Lucifer. It's called, I don't want to get an integrated brain or restorative embodiment. I don't want to access my whole self. I'd rather be a bitch or an asshole and call you a bitch or an asshole. And basically, you're a shit. No, you're a shit. You know what? Let's go have fun, Cusco. So, Pachas and Cusco's. It's a nice, fun movie. The Emperor's New Groove. Go ahead and watch it. Again, we'll be back with more. A whole 3-year-old heart is what every one of us here will be as we get together. Let's get together. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We can have a lot of fun. We're going to be back with something else in a little bit. Have a wonderful day, though, if you don't come back. And if you do know people who like to hear about self-empowered stories, mystic stories, spiritual self-help, personal development, and mindfulness living and loving, send them my way. For one-to-one mentorship, email me. For the masterclass sign-up, email me. And for spirituality retreats in the future, email me, because they will all be small numbers, because, well, that's how we do it. And we build a community over time, but also because I'm one person and there's only so much when it comes to what we get to do together for me to offer you actively, again, so 24 hours. And when we're connecting, some people think tarot is bullshit, some people think Akashic records are bullshit, some people think that Reiki is bullshit, and people think it's shitty ass energy. We leave the ignorant human beings to their ignorance. I share with you all, it requires not my energy, but it requires my you know how you have 24 hours and multitasking is bad, right? Because you don't do effective. Okay, great. So basically, there's only so much that you can do in order to be at your best and most effective and to help those who are serious, which, by the way, since there's not all people who like to be their self, you're lucky. So again, if you're interested, sign up. It's not immediate for the masterclass. For the mentorship, it depends on you, and the spirituality retreat is not immediate either, but I'm going to keep on reminding you, just so that if you want to get on that list, because you begin to get interested in it, that way you know, and you get priority, because whoever will email me will be in the priority, obviously, as long as you maintain interest, because you might lose interest. And anyways, we'll be back again with more in the meantime. Again, thank you for stopping by.